Hey, Levi.
Are we good? Alright, hello everybody. I'm Levi. I'm also nerdish. I've fired Brendan and Brady because they're annoying. And...
That's not true.
That's true.
Who turned it on while you were out there?
I mean, you're very helpful, men.
Hey man, start teaching.
Hey,
I'm gonna start teaching.
What are you talking about?
Oh, wait,
what
no,
are we going over tonight?
Pink shirt. Yeah, okay, so I am doing apostrophes. That's what we're doing right now. And then after me... Wait, I can't speak and write this word at the same time. Apostrophes.
Seems like a personal problem.
Oh, it's actually a public problem, seeing as we're sharing it with everybody publicly. After apostrophes, then Brendan and Brady are doing graphing translations. They're both going to split it, so you get to be taught by everybody, which is very exciting. Very exciting. Yeah, so that'll take hopefully no more than 40 minutes, and then we can open up to normal questions. Hey, Robot Dancer, can you guys go over omitted questions? I got some omitted. I am confusion. Me too. I don't know what exactly...
Omitted problems meaning you missed them. You just didn't fill them in or you filled them in incorrectly.
I'm going to say it's they didn't fill them in.
Yeah, they didn't fill them in.
Or is it when they say omit the following sentence?
Oh, the type of omitted answer.
Ask her.
Like, to clarify, Robot Dancer, like, except questions? You know, all of these are true except this?
They give you the option to omit the following portion as opposed to insert.
Oh, like delete this in the English section, that type of thing? Yes, we can certainly go over that. Yeah, possibly before we do the math.
No, what I was talking about, I guess. You almost spelled it right, too.
You said about all of the following are true except...
No, omitted, as in they just didn't answer them.
Who's they?
Oh, I'll get up there.
Robot answer. As in an omitted question, meaning that it was omitted, he doesn't know, they don't know what that means. So whoever graded the test, omitted means the answer was not filled in. That's what they mean.
Okay, maybe you can deal with that question, because I still have no idea what's going on.
When they got their score report back, they had questions that were omitted. It was reported that there were questions omitted from the test.
Oh, okay, so, okay. Sure.
That's it. That just means that when they went through and graded it through the Scantron or whatever, it didn't show up that you had filled in all the answers, and those questions were omitted.
That's a problem.
Yeah, it's not a good thing.
Sure. Yeah. Okay, so first, we're going to do blue for contractions. So this is the easier part, I think, of apostrophes. This is when you have two words, you're going to put them together, you use an apostrophe to put them together. So these are words like couldn't and things like that. So I'm not going to explain the word couldn't. I'm sure you can figure that out. If you can't, then we can go over it. So couldn't, things like that. Now the harder ones are, we'll do can't, just be negative. The harder ones are what I want to talk about. So this would be it's and there, because those are the commonly mistaken ones. Those are the ones that they do test, I would say every single test on the ACT and SAT. So we have it's versus it's. Okay? This one is possessive. This one is a contraction. So this one is it is. That's the difference here. So when you see these two answer choices in the English section, you're going to be choosing between possessive it's when it's, you know, here's the marker and here's its top, right? That would be the possessive it's because there's possession going on. It wouldn't be it is because if you replace it's with it is, it doesn't make any sense. Here's the marker, here it is top. That doesn't make sense. Here is it is top. Yeah, no good. So that's it's versus it's. I posted a question on Discord. I was wondering if it doesn't matter yeah, okay. So yes, we will get to that robot answer. Yes, okay. And then we have there versus there. This is actually the same exact thing. There are a bunch of theirs. But this is possessive. A bunch is pushing it. It's 3. Possessive and they are. So same situation here. The last there is the location or the noun. There, you know, go over there. So yeah, I might as well write that in. Okay? So those are the three different types of theirs. These are contractions. I find these significantly easier than the possession apostrophes that these don't have. Okay, and we may come back to this. Anybody needs help? Or I think Robot Dancer is still referring to his question, so that's fine. Okay, so here's contractions. Now, I'm going to use orange. It's very new, and I'm very excited about this. So here's possession, possessives. Now, we're going to split this into singular and plural to demonstrate something. Singular. Okay. If the word is singular and you are making it possessive, so the pen's cap, the man's backpack, Brendan's hair, it doesn't matter. You're always going to have apostrophe S. There is no other way to do it. Okay? That's it. Plural can be a little bit tricky. So, if there is an S at the end of the word, then you will not put an S after the apostrophe. And then if there is no S, then you will. So I'm going to give you a couple examples down here. So we have children's, or let's say that here's the noun. We're going to make it possessive. So the children's water bottles or something like that. We're going to put an apostrophe S because there's no S at the end of children. So if there's no S, then you just put an apostrophe S. But if we have something like birds.
Me?
No, not you, bird.
No.
Birds. And we're going to say, so this is children's books, let's say. And then birds, what do birds have? Feathers? Normally? The bird's feathers. So here, we're going to put the apostrophe afterwards because you're not going to put it in front. That would be a singular bird. We're saying that there are plural birds and they have feathers. So there are 3 birds in the nest, or maybe two. There are 2 birds in your hand, there's 1 in the bush, and they all have feathers. So the bird's feathers is going to be plural. You don't need the apostrophe, or you need the apostrophe. You can't have the S after it because you already have an S before it. So that means in one case, you have yada 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 apostrophe S. Here you have yada 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 S apostrophe. Okay? Those are the 2 cases with plurals. So with possessives, singular, always apostrophe S. Plural, always apostrophe S unless you end with an S and then you do not have the second S. You shouldn't have birds' feathers or anything like that. They won't test you on proper nouns with S's at the end, so you don't have to worry about that. Okay, that's it. Does anybody have any questions on contractions or possessives with apostrophes? It is relatively straightforward. Most people don't have too much trouble with actually understanding it, but if you don't practice it, it can sneak up on you on the test day if you don't have it organized in your mind, and then you get confused and freak out. Like I did on the History AP exam. Ooh, look at all the questions for Twitch, maybe. Okay. No questions, so I'm going to erase this, and I can make room for whichever you guys is starting first.
I will be that person.
I have a nice orange for you, if you'd like it.
I would like that.
Are you going to ruin it?
Are these your Costco oranges?
No.
No. Don't tell him about that.
Wait, it's such a great deal. What was the deal?
The deal was, I think, well, I never counted, but I think it was about 25, 26 oranges for like $9.
Oh my gosh.
And they
They're
taste
big.
very good.
They're
They're
good
also
oranges.
Huge oranges.
They're big navel oranges.
Oh man.
Yes.
One of our
They were the
sponsors.
Navy,
Yes.
or they were blue.
Well, they went to the Naval Academy, but they were dishonorably discharged.
You know that if you're in the Navy, they teach you how to tap dance?
I did not know that.
That's
I'm
part
waiting
of
for
being
the
in the
pun.
Navy.
I'm waiting for the pun.
No, there's no pun. It's just, there's a lot of musicals where the Navy guys start tap dancing, and it's based on real life, which is, if you're in the Navy, you're on a ship, they teach you how to tap dance. It's a lot of downtime. They just work on their tap.
I just noticed. Have you already seen this question, or is this new?
No, here it is.
Where is it? ACT just press more questions. Questions wrong in the recent SAT I took. If it's questions from the recent SAT, you should not be practicing ACT science. There's some similar skills, but you probably would do better to do more SAT practice questions that are in the same concept area.
Yes, ACT science will not help you with the way they define their question types in other sections as scientific.
But it might be useful
But-
to practice reading graphs on the science section, because that might be, if the analysis and science part of the SAT in the math section tends to be a lot of graphs, it can't hurt necessarily to have more graphs that are honestly probably a little more difficult to read as practice. But generally, the science is not going to be a good section for you to practice if you're not getting science questions.
If you do decide to do some ACT science graphing practice just for the practice, don't worry about timing. ACT science, you're supposed to do it at like a breakneck pace to be able to get through it. And what you need to do is work on your graph data interpretation skills, which is not going to be as much. Are you a cat now? I like it when you're a cat.
You do?
Yeah.
I like it when you like things that I do.
Yeah. Well, that's
yeah,
a
Robot
success.
Dancer, if you want to go over dealing with graphs in any of the SAT sections, let us know, and then we can work on that with you. Maybe not tonight. We may not have time for it tonight, but we can certainly.
Okay. All right. So, function transformations is when you take a function and you move it, you stretch it, you compress it, all sorts of different things you can do to it. Okay. You could bop it, you could twist it, you could squeeze it. No, flick it. Sorry. So, if you have a function that's f of x, here are the basics of what you can do. First one is the easiest. You add a number to the end of it. So you have the same function, you just add, we're going to call it k. That is a vertical shift by k units. All right? That's going to bring something up, bring every single point of a graph up by however many units that k is. Vertical shift. All right, this is probably the simplest one to understand. If k is positive, everything will be shifted upwards. If k is negative, everything will be shifted downwards. Here is a quick example. So I'm going to have the parabola here. We're going to have a very simple y equals x squared. So we're at the origin, we're at 1, 1, and negative 1, 1, and then we're at 2, 1, 2, 3. We go up here as well. Negative 2 up to 4. Okay. So here is our garden variety parabola. If I were to change this now into y equals, let's say, x squared minus 2. There's been a vertical shift of negative 2. Every point will now be 2 units down. So I'm going to take my origin. I'm going to bring it down 2 units down. I'm going to take my 1, 1. I'm going to bring it down 2 units. Everything goes down 2 units. The x-coordinates stay the same. Everything just goes down 2 units, giving us a parabola that looks like this. It's not perfect. Bear with me. It's not perfect, like I said. Brendan, I don't know how to factor it.
I got that. It's
got
for the
it.
question.
Brendan's got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, so all of these points have gone down by the same amount. Yes, there we go. 2 units. Okay? Vertical shift. Check mark. So remember, k being positive means going up. K being negative means going down. The next one, is going to be, that's how I laugh. There's nothing funny about that. Is going to be horizontal shifts, or horizontal translations. Translations just means shifts. Okay, you are going to subtract the horizontal shift you'd like to perform. All right, this is a little counterintuitive from what you'd expect, because for vertical shift, you add something, you go up in the positive direction, you subtract, you're going to go down. With horizontal shifts, if you're subtracting a number, you will actually be moving in the positive direction, okay? You're going to be going to the right. If you're adding a number, you're going to be moving to the left. See how I put minus h inside parentheses? What this means is you need to focus on where x was originally, and then inside of where x was, you need to put x minus h. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to write a new function on the board.
So now we're going to have, I swear I had a pink marker. Oh, it's in my pocket. Put it in my pocket. Like a little worm.
Your back pocket?
You guys have, yeah, my back pocket. Well, my front pocket. You guys have a little worm in your pocket ever? You like feed it little somethings? Keeps you company?
Some things.
I had a worm that I used to carry around for a couple of years. Okay, y is equal to, here's the hard part. Our original function was x squared. We want to put our horizontal shift inside the x. So where x was, write some parentheses. And then we're going to say it's going to be a horizontal shift of 3. X minus 3, okay? So now that is where the x was before. Parentheses are super important. If I'm subtracting 3, that means that I'm going 3 units in the positive direction. Remember, it's the opposite of what you think. So I'm going to take all of my points. 0, 0 is going to now be at 3, 0. 1, 1 is now going to be at 4, 1. This is going to be at 3, 1. And then we're going to go up here, and we're going to go up here. I should probably move this out of the way. It's taking up space, kind of like Levi. Ooh.
What?
There's a single tear floating down Levi's face right now. I'm going to extract it. I'm going to digest it, and it will power me for several days. Okay, 3 units. Everything's been moved 3 units to the right. All right, there we go. That one went there. This went there, and then this one. Oh, I need to draw this in pink. Y is equal to x minus 3 squared. Yes, you can see what's going on here. You can see it very well. All right, that's a horizontal shift. The next thing is a vertical stretch or compression. It's going to look like this. A times f of x. So there's now a number, a constant, in front of the f of x. What this is going to do, it's going to stretch all of our y coordinates. It's going to make them bigger if a is bigger than 1. And if a is smaller than 1, like if a is 0.2, it's going to compress them. It's going to make them smaller. Stephen Maisko says, yes, my man. That kind of stuff. Yes. Hello, Stephen. Stephen and I go literally way back. Back to, I don't know, when we meet, like 7th grade, 8th grade, something like that. We did theater together. It was fun. Good times.
My gosh.
Yeah, it goes that far
Was
back.
it that Steven?
It's that Stephen. I don't know what I've told you about him
my
besides
gosh.
everything. Be very afraid, Stephen. I've told him everything. I'm going to give ourselves... What?
What?
What'd you say, Brendan?
Even about band camp?
Even about band camp. I've told him mostly about band camp. That's what he was curious about. I gave him kind of an overview of Levi, and he's like, tell me more about band camp. And I said, absolutely. Okay. Let me draw us another parabola. This is going to be another garden variety. Y is equal to x squared. So we have our 1s, and we have our 2 4s, and it's a good time. So if we're going to do a vertical shift, you put a in front of what your function was. So our function was x squared. Let's put a number in front of x squared. Let's call this, we're going to say y, there's so little, there's actually a lot of space, I'm just not using it well. Y is equal to, we're going to say 3x squared. That's going to take all of our old y units and make them 3 times bigger. Okay? So when x was 0, it's still going to stay 0. There's no vertical stretching there. Here's our first point when y equals 1. Y is now going to be 3 times bigger. Okay, so this is now going to go up to 3. So that's 1, 2, 3. That point is now here. That point is now here. Do not confuse this with a vertical shift. It looks like these points went up by 3, but other points are going to go up by way more units. This went up by 3. Went from 1 to 3. This goes up by 2 units. So this is not a vertical shift, it's a vertical stretch. What we had here at y is equal to 4 is now going to go all the way up to 12. That's 4, 8. It's going to be somewhere up here. It's pretty wild. So this is going to be a much narrower parabola. It's going to go up faster as it moves to the right and left. Okay? That is a vertical stretch. Now, if it was a vertical compression, your a value would have to be smaller than 1. Y is equal to 1/2 x squared. All of your y values are going to be half of what they were before. Here we go. It's going to be 2 now, so it's going to open up wider. Fantastic. So good. So good. Last thing. I should label this. This is a vertical stretch / compression.
Also, Brady.
Yes.
When you're done and it's my turn, can you leave those 1, 2, 3 up there?
Absolutely not. These are for me only.
Okay.
You have to rewrite them if you want them.
I
I'm
like
kidding.
your
I'm
handwriting.
kidding. We're a
Your
team.
handwriting's better.
We're a team. My handwriting is not great.
I know it's because you use your left hand, but
It's not.
if you use your right hand, it'd be better.
That's not how things work. Maybe back in the 40s. I'm sorry, Grandma. They made you write right-handed. Lastly, we have horizontal stretches and compressions. Okay? We're going to put a B in front of this X. And it's going to be counterintuitive, just like our horizontal shift. You'd think B, if it was like 5, f of 5x, that's going to make x bigger. It actually is a compression. Okay? If B is less than 1, is being left-handed genetic? Yes, it is. It's something that your brain tells you is an easier hand to work with, which is not something that you would choose.
Doctors are trying to fix it.
Doctors are trying to fix it. Oh, Brendan, what are we going to do with you? And then if B is smaller than 1, then it's going to be a horizontal stretch. So we're going to call this the opposite. We're going to call this a horizontal compression / stretch. Here we go. Horizontal compression / stretch. Fun fact, whenever Brennan goes to the gym and he stretches, he has to say the word stretch whenever he's stretching.
It's true.
It's kind of strange.
It's very uncomfortable.
Okay, we got a lot of graphs here. I want to get rid of something. I'm going to get rid of this middle one. So we can do a little horizontal business, and then we're going to call it a day for me, and we're going to give the floor to Brendan.
All right.
Brendan will have the floor. Brendan loves the floor.
It's where I normally sleep, so.
He's a real floorman. Okay. All right. Okay, yes. Good. So last one. Again, we got ourselves a parabola. We go up there, we go there, we go right there, we go right there, we go. Okay. Hey, fantastic. Thank you. If we're going to have, let's see. This is y equals x squared in pink. And now we're going to graph, again, this is going to go inside the parentheses, so this is going to be grouped in with x. It's not just going to be, here, I'll show you what I mean. It's not going to be 5x squared, because then this would look just like a vertical stretch. Hint, horizontal and vertical stretches and compressions are related. Sometimes one is the opposite if you look at it from the other perspective. But we want to put the b value inside with the x. So it's going to be inside with the x. Hint, hint, this would be the same thing as 25x squared, which would be a vertical stretch of 25. Also, you can look at it as a horizontal compression of 5. So all of the x values we have will be compressed to 1/5 of what they were before. We were at 1 before, now we're going to be at 0.2 and negative 0.2. We were at 2 before, now we're going to be at 2/5, which is 0.4. So right there and right there. That was a horizontal compression if I've ever seen one, which can also be expressed as a vertical stretch. Okay, again, these kinds of things are two sides of the same coin. And lastly, if I use orange and I do the opposite, y is equal to, we're going to put 1/2 inside here. X squared, also known as 1/4 x squared. This is going to be a horizontal stretch, which is going to make all the x values twice as large. So we're going to go from where we were at 1, now we are at 2. Now we are at 2. We were at 2, and now we are at 4. We are at 4. So it looks like a horizontal stretch, also known as a vertical compression. All right, just from a different perspective. All right, so I'm going to leave these numbers up, but I'm going to take these graphs down, and it's going to be Brendan's turn to blind you with trigonometric functions. Why can't I say that? Anemone. It's anemone.
Anemone? Can I steal your pink marker?
Can you ask Levi if he can steal mine?
Levi, can I take his pink marker?
Yes, my lord.
All right, good.
All right. Robot Dancer, after we go through this, I will answer your question on factoring. Don't think we forgot about it.
I forgot
Oh,
about it.
dang it. I just said not to erase this, and there I go spraying it.
You do have to do it by yourself.
All right. Well,
Yes.
let's see if I can just erase the bottom half
Serves you right.
and go through it. Well, actually, that's okay, because they're not quite what you would think of as being the same thing.
This is the right form.
Oh, no.
What's not the same thing?
With trig functions, how it's expressed is slightly different. So it's okay.
One thing I wanted to write before I left,
Oh,
which
no.
I'm going to write up here.
What if I didn't want you to write it, though, Brady?
Yes.
Yes, what?
Then bad things would happen.
All right.
This is all of the translations and transformations all in one. So the important thing to point out here is that you have to factor out your b value in order to figure out what your h value actually is. Go ahead.
Great. Yeah, I'm going to be working with y equals, well, my y's look a lot different, sine of x. That is going to be our starting function. Now, it's very similar, at least with vertical and horizontal shift, it's going to give you effectively the same thing. I'll go ahead and graph this quickly over here. If you haven't seen this graph, this is what the sine function looks like. We're going to have pi, 2 pi, negative pi, and negative 2 pi. If you are not comfortable with radians instead of degrees, let us know. We can go over that. Sine starts at 0, goes up to 1, goes down to, wait, hold on, now I just did it wrong. No, that's right. Goes down, goes back up. It looks a little bit stretched because of how I've done it, but that's what it's going to look like. No, it's not. Yeah, I thought I did that wrong. Levi, you're supposed to be watching. I drew it a little too small for what I wanted. Okay. It repeats every 2 pi, so it's going to be this to this. Yeah, I should have drawn this bigger. But hindsight, ladies and gentlemen. There's something about it. Okay. This is what sine of x looks like. Now, if we take this and pink, all right. If I went plus 2, let me graph that below. Same x values. Y is going to go up to 3 now, believe it or not. And I'll leave this here on the bottom. What I do is I take this entire sinusoidal function. Thank you, Brady. And I shift it up vertically by 2. So instead of being at 0, when x is 0, I'm at 1, 2. And then it's effectively the same thing. All right, and then let's see if I can't make this pretty. Yeah, it's not bad. That's what it's going to look like. Horizontal shift. Let's do green. If I were to say sine y equals the sine of x minus pi over 2. Thank you for following, hexadecimal. That's clever. I like that. If I were to graph this, similar, let's stretch it just a little bit. Pi, 2 pi, negative and negative 2. All right. Still 1 and negative 1. Does not affect the amplitude at all. But now I need to think about this. I have x, my x value minus pi over 2, which is going to be here, here. Let's go ahead and give the little marks for the halves, right? It's, again, same thing Brady had talked about. It is going to be, if it's a subtraction, you're actually pushing it to the right. I like to think about it, and maybe this is going to confuse you, so if this does not work for you, forget it. But I think of negative, I'm pulling it from the left. If it's positive, I'm pulling it from the right. Because if I go on either side of the y-axis, it's positive on my right side, negative on my left. It's negative, well, I'm pulling it pi over 2 from the left. There's plenty of ways to think about it, or you can just plug in values. But I'm going to be starting here.
Robot Dancer's following us.
Robot Dancer is following us?
Robot Dancer's following us.
Hey, thanks for following. I thought you... Okay, thanks for the follow. Great.
I've never been so offended by a follow, to be honest. I'm being serious.
You've been here for so long.
We trusted you.
Thank you.
No. I don't know why I keep messing myself up with this, guys.
What's going on?
Graphing sinusoids here are just really throwing me off. So it would be here. 1, 2, 3. No, that was right. It just really, it's not what I want it to look like. Yeah. What I've done is shifted it to the left, or sorry, to the right, negative, or pi over 2. There are 2 other things we can do. I might have room for it. Brady, all good?
Yeah, you want to clean up the strip of eraser
Right here.
under horizontal shift, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, that's better.
All right. The next thing I want to talk about is very simple, actually. So 3, this is going to be, what did you call this? Horizontal stretch?
Oh, yeah.
This is going to be vertical stretch, though. My handwriting might be better.
Yours is.
Only when I do the bubbly kind of letters. Okay, for vertical stretch, we're going to have y equals 3 sine of x. This, how this stretches it, because it's a continuous function, is I was following, but I unfollowed and followed to get the pop-up. Fair enough. That's quite funny.
Do it again.
Don't. You don't have to do that. Pink is not doing great for me. Okay. One, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now I've multiplied it by 3. So what I actually am doing here is just a scalar multiplication of this graph. So I'm just going to be stretching it as I go. So I start here. I go all the way up to 3, all the way back down here, down to negative 3, back up, down to negative 3, here, here, there. That one was maybe the cleanest, except my marker ran out. Good. That's what it looks like when you have a vertical stretch. You have a value in front of your trigonometric function. Did you not get a pop-up, hexadecimal? You should have, and I apologize if you didn't. Brady, can you scroll? For some reason, this is not...
Yes. Am I on that?
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, just thank you. Unfollow and follow again. That's one way to do it. All right, let me make room for this last one. Yeah, I only need to erase that. This last one, what we're going to do, you probably already have an idea from watching Brady, but if you're just joining us, we've covered the regular sine function, how to graph it. We've covered a vertical shift, a horizontal shift, vertical stretch, and now we want a horizontal stretch or compression. 4. Horizontal stretch. For this one, still similar to what Brady had, we're going to have y equals this, well, equals the sine of, we'll say 2x. Now, again, you're thinking, okay, I'm multiplying it by 2. I'm multiplying, something's going to increase. And you're right, but it might not be intuitive. What you're increasing is actually the frequency. You learned that in college. I did. So what we have here, normally, and I maybe should have drawn this a little bigger, but it'll work out. Normally, we have this function here. When I multiply x by 2, that means when I am at normally, so 0 is still 0. Great, that doesn't change. But now, normally when I'm at pi over 2, right here, this little guy right there, I'm at 1. But now if I have x equals pi over 2, if I multiply that by 2, I get pi. So I would get the sine of pi, meaning I'd be back at 0. So I'm actually here. And then pi, I would get 2 pi. So I'm doubling my frequency. Let's do this. So it's going to look something like that. There you go. So by multiplying x by 2, by having this coefficient here, I actually shrink it. I compress it. And if this was to be x divided by a number, I would stretch it out, because that is how often this is repeating. Right? This is affecting, this 2 affects how quickly I get to 2 pi, or negative 2 pi. And every time I hit 2 pi, that is my period. So now my period is being divided by this number. My period, instead of being 2 pi, is now pi. If this was x over 2, and I divided it, my period would be 4 pi. Great. Came for the pop-up, but I'm staying for the maths. Great. If you have any questions, hexadecimal, let us know. Have you guys looked at Robot's Dancer's question? Okay, if not, I
looked
can.
at it. We have no idea how to do it.
No, I got it.
None.
Wait, actually?
No. No, we got it. First
Well,
try.
the first one didn't have much of an explanation, but it was just
They're
factoring
wondering-
by grouping.
Yeah, they're wondering how they came up with those numbers.
Are you
yeah.
going to factor by grouping and I can do the next one?
Yes.
Sure. Now we can erase this, Brady.
Oh.
It's foolish of you.
I didn't bring any rags.
You just thought I was going to do it all?
That's how I generally feel
Thanks.
about most things. Nah, Brennan will do it. Sweep the floors, Brennan will do it. Clean my bathroom, Brennan will do it.
No, I did not.
No,
I
I clean my
refuse.
bathroom. I clean my bathroom.
No, Bible don't. What?
Yes. Whoa. People don't know. People don't know what that means. But it's okay, we do.
We do. That's
Yeah.
what matters.
And Babo does as well.
Anyone watching right now?
Hey, Robot Dancer. You're still here, right? I mean, I know you are, but if I was wondering if it matters where the 7 goes. Oh, great question. The answer is no, it does not. You can put them in the other order. All that's going to happen
Which
is that
makes it a little easier.
you'll end up solving for a different factor first with the other 2 numbers in front, rather than the factor that they got with the first 2 numbers in front.
Well, yes. Yeah. I just think one makes it a little easier. How are you drawing on my screen? Markers. That's silly.
Yeah, it's markers.
Here,
I
I mean, we're erasing your screen for you right now, so I mean, we're pretty considerate.
Yeah, we're undoing in case you don't like it. So 3x squared plus 2x minus 21 is equal to 0.
Okay, that was the only question he had for that, or they had for that.
Okay, Robot.
So
you don't even go through this then if you're good.
There's glass here. That's how we're doing it. And that was at hexadecimal.
Robot.
I think so. That was their only question.
I understand. All right.
Levi, you're up.
Nice.
Unless they understand that it's glass, in which case you erase that for nothing.
You know what I say to that? Nothing.
Do we?
No.
Where's my phone?
You want me to call it?
I present to you
Brennan's phone.
Levi Jennings.
Hey, can I have those markers?
Yes.
Nice.
Yes, you can.
Okay. So, Robot Dancer, this thing that you posted, which is a line of best fit situation, what specifically is your problem with it? I don't want to write out this entire graph because it's horrifyingly a lot of numbers to write.
There's 2 points.
How about the origin?
But we can talk about a couple of the points. So, we're starting at 120 and 60, which right off the bat demonstrates to me that we might have some issues, because it's not ending at 0, 0. That could be an issue. So we go 120, 140, 160. Yeah, that's all I'm going to do. Da, da. And then we go 70, 80. Okay, so that's easy enough. 70 and 80. And then you go up there and you go over there, and this is a linear line of best fit, as they are. So that's your line of best fit, and it seems to go through that point there and that point there, roughly at 140 and 70 and 160 and 80. And so this is registered voters. And this is people who voted. Okay, so you don't know how to do this. Very good. The question is, I will just read it. A line of best fit for the data is also shown. Which of the following could be an equation of the line of best fit? So the possible equations we have are y equals negative 0.5x, b is y equals 0.5x, c is y equals negative 2x. Okay, great. Negative 2x, and d is y equals 2x. All right. We are just looking at this. So I'm not sure exactly where it was an issue for you. But lines of best fit are confusing because it's you see them as a thing that you're drawing between little dots. Ignore the dots. The actual points that are around it, wherever they were, don't affect this problem. They are asking you about the line of best fit, and they're saying what could be a possible equation for this line. Well, this line is clearly a positive slope, right? These are all positive numbers, increasing and increasing, so it's going to be a positive slope. This is in the first quadrant, which means that we can't have a negative slope, which means that A is wrong and C is wrong. And now we need to figure out what the slope is. So is the slope 0.5 or is it 2? And those are reciprocals. Are we going up 2 for every 1 we're going across, or are we going up 1 for every 2 we go across? Here, we are going up 20. So this jump, let's make up a point here, which is at 140 and 70, and then let's take this point here, which is at 120 and 60. So we're going up by 20, and we're going right by 20, and we're going up by 10, which means that we are going right by 2 when we go up by 1. So it's going to be our rise is 1, our run is, did I just say rise is run? Who knows? Our rise is 1 and our run is 2. Therefore, we have a slope of 1/2. So it's that. Does that make sense, Robot Dancer, how I went through this question? It's not a terribly complicated question, but it is confusing at a couple different points. This is one of the, you got D, which is 2x. Got it. Okay, do you understand how I worked through this? I think I messed up the y index. Yes, very possibly. You're not actually doing this very often where you are just finding differences between y's and x's, but yes, slope is rise over run, which you know deep down in your heart of hearts, and you sometimes forget it. And you don't listen to your heart. Right, Bird?
I never listen to my heart.
And if you do it for too long, what happens, Bird?
You gotta have one.
That's right, I don't have one.
Because he ignored it too long.
Yep.
And it went away.
It goes away. It decides it doesn't need you anymore if you're not going to listen to it.
Didn't you give it to that girl once?
Oh no, last Christmas I gave you my heart. But the
Ah,
very next day,
I totally lost it.
you completely lost it.
Yeah, I have no idea where I put
Somewhere in the alleyways of New
it.
York.
It's just a dark space in my memory.
That's too bad.
Yes.
I want to help you out here.
Okay.
This year.
Okay, Robot Dancer. Anything else?
We just got a thing on Discord.
Oh, very good.
Oh.
Robot Dancer.
Very good.
Who's getting dibs? Who's got dibs?
We love Robot
Depends
Dancer.
on how fun this
Ooh, it's
is.
a constants question.
Ooh, that sounds like a Brendan
That's an easy
question.
thing. Ooh,
Brandon
it's a
loves
hard
this.
Difficulty. We'll see.
Hexadecimal.
Brandon likes
We'll see
these.
about that.
What are you putting your little emoji emotion man?
Emoticon.
Oh, you
Hmm.
you and your emoticons.
You know I love them. They're my favorite.
Emoticons roll out.
All right, Brendan.
Nice.
Actually, no. Emoticons sound like the bad guys, like Decepticons.
They do. 100% they do. All right, we've got a question from Robot Dancer. Oh, hey. Multiple emoticons. Great.
Do you need any
Let's
markers?
zoom in. I don't think so. Ooh, blue. I don't have blue. Thanks.
Yes.
In the equation above, which is a times the quantity of x plus b equals 4x plus 10. All right. We are given that a and b are both constants. That's important. Their values will not change. And the equation has infinitely many solutions. infinitely many solutions. That is very, very important to this. Let's make sure those are more solid there. For x.
Don't do that.
Thanks.
Yes, I wasn't talking to you.
What
I was
is...
talking to Hex.
You're laughing at our banter. Well, thank you.
Don't do it.
Find x.
Find B.
No, find b. Whoops.
Oh, shoot. Whoa.
Find b. What?
Keep going.
I
You're
like
doing
this
so
one.
well.
Okay. If you see a question where they ask you if there are infinitely many solutions, or if they ask you if... You guys okay?
No,
Yeah.
you.
Okay.
We learned something.
If there's infinitely many solutions, or they say it's true for all values of x, and you're dealing with constants, and we call this constants and coefficients because we have coefficients in front of our x values, or in front of our variables. The important thing to note here is that, well, I'll get to that step, but this is going to let us do something really, really cool. I'm going to go ahead, and what I recognize here is I don't know what I can do, okay? But I know that if I'm just trying to simplify this, there are a couple of things I can do. For example, I can plug in the a here. I can distribute that. So I get ax plus ab, and that still equals 4x plus 10. All right. Still acting like I have no idea what's going on in this problem, I'm able to at least move one level down. Now, that's where this comes into play, okay? If I have this, that this is true for infinitely many solutions, for x, and the a or b are constants, this allows me to say that ax equals 4x. This means we have symmetry here. And ab, that's d, which is not either of those things. If I have ab, that is going to be equal to 10. How I group these, can I assume a is 4? You don't have to assume. You can prove it. Yes.
Prove it, my lord.
The way you want to group these is by their variables, the degree of the variable. So this is, in theory, a, b, and 10 are x to the 0th power, meaning just 1. So my constants I group together. This is a times x to the first, and this is 4 times x to the first, so those go together. If I had an x squared value over here, it would go with the x squared value over here, and so on and so forth. And these two things right here, and mostly this right here, infinitely many solutions, allows us to know that this is true without a doubt. Meaning, a equals 4. You're right, Robot Dancer. And from there, I can say that AB, yes, AB equals 10, 4B equals 10, B equals 10 over 4, or 5 halves.
I do want to throw something quickly in here. The reason why Brennan was able to set these things equal, because the infinitely many solutions for x, if two equations are exactly the same, you could put any x value you wanted in either of these sides, and the thing is going to end up being the same.
Yep.
So any value of x could work, hence infinitely many solutions, hence these two things must be exactly the same on the left and right side.
Yes, sir. Great.
Good question, Robot.
Mm-hmm. I like those questions. Any other questions while we're at it? Have we
are
gotten
at it
anything
for
on the
another
Discord?
40 minutes.
Yeah, we were quick through our sessions today. What would you do if they asked for one solution? I don't think they would in this case, but if they did, if it was just for one solution, you could make up values of a and b. There'd be tons and tons of possible solutions here, so I don't think they would have you do that.
Yeah, it just means that the two lines are different. They have different slopes. So A and 4, A could not be 4. That's really the only thing you could tell if they had only one intersection point.
Yeah, if it was...
Oi.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
My friend got a perfect score because he was really fast for example in the no-calc section.
I mean...
In general, do not take the test fast the first time so that you can go back and check. If math is really easy for you and you finish really quickly, then you might as well use the rest of the time.
Thank you.
But it is not useful to go through the test and possibly get questions wrong. You shouldn't be breezing through questions and not being sure of your work. It's always good to go back and check if you have time, but you should be able to get the same score on your first pass as you would after reviewing the questions, barring some, unfortunate simple mistakes and questions that the first pass were too hard for you. But no, I don't think that you should aim. If you're finishing the math section, let's say no calc in 23 minutes, then that's fine.
Also, a little pro tip here: if you're taking the SAT, when you do the math sections, start with the short answer first, because if you end up running out of time and you have to guess, excuse me, thank you, and you have to guess, you have almost no chance of guessing correctly on a fill in the answer.
On the written, he's saying.
Yeah. However, it's A, B, C, or D for any other question. So I'd rather you do this. You should rather that you do this.
Very good, Brandon.
Right? Thank you.
That's it.
English, guys. You should, ideally, if you're going to guess on the ones you don't know how to do, or the last two in the multiple choice, right? Because they get more difficult as you go, and they start over at difficulty when you get the short answer. They start easy to hard again. So question 15 is most likely the hardest question on the on the no calculator.
Did we ever answer the question about omitting questions?
Yeah, they were just asking what it meant.
Oh,
it just
okay.
meant that when your test went through, there were blank answers.
Yeah, which is, barring the potential that the machine itself had a problem, which most of the case does not happen, it means you should not, I got this one. You should not leave any answers blank, okay? If the ones you don't get to, always make sure you put a bubble an answer in there.
Oh,
Preferably choose one letter for all the ones you don't get to, like just put A for all of them, because a quarter of them should be A, and you're locking in the probability that you're going to get a quarter of them right. All right. So, this is standard, equals C.
No.
Plus C slope equals, there's no equal sign in what they said.
I think it should be.
It's supposed to be equal C.
Okay.
It doesn't actually matter.
Yes, it does.
It has to
Because if
equal
it's
something.
plus C equals 0, then it still doesn't matter.
Oh, well, they don't have equal 0 in the case.
Yeah.
There needs to be equal
Yeah.
somewhere. Okay, what this is this is standard form, which is another way of having a linear equation, okay? It is equal, sorry. Yes. If you wanted to put this in slope-intercept form, which is much easier to understand, because the first time that you learn how to graph things with like slope and y-intercept, they teach you slope-intercept form, which is y is equal to mx plus b. All right? These are two different ways of writing the equation of a line. So you could always start with one and convert to the other. The slope of this is not readily apparent because it's not in slope-intercept form. If you want to find the slope of this, convert it to slope-intercept form first, which means you have to solve this for y. So the first thing you want to do is subtract ax from both sides, which is going to get you by is equal to negative ax plus c, and then to solve for y, divide both sides by b, which is going to get you y is equal to negative a over bx plus c over b. That's why the slope is negative a over b, because that's what you end up with as the coefficient of x in slope-intercept form, which is usually where your slope goes. Does that make sense? Robot. Makes sense. Very good. Any other questions, guys? We have some time. We're here for you.
Yes.
You're here for us.
Yeah, there are a
lot
bunch
of
of people
this.
watching and only one robot dancer asking questions, which is fine.
We can't get more robot dancers asking questions.
Nope. Well, we have the 36th one.
Oh, the first 35 iterations were somehow flawed.
Yes.
Also, now's a good time as any, since they're not asking questions.
Go for it, Bren.
I'll do this. All right. Most of you are watching on Twitch. We have some of you on Facebook, and I think someone on YouTube. So
That's
cheers to
kinda
that.
fun.
YouTube.
Most of these questions, if not all, that Robot Dancer is asking are being posted in our Discord, which can be found down below. Or if you're watching on Facebook, it can be found up above. Or maybe still down below in the description. Depends on how you're watching it.
And how your computer is.
Yeah, how your computer is. What? No. So that's where a lot of these questions are being asked. It's a great way for students to ask questions, get them answered by us and other students.
Great way to get in
We
shape.
do. Say what? Great way to get in shape. Thanks.
Yeah.
We have. We're streaming right now on Twitch, Facebook, YouTube. We have a Twitter. We have an Instagram that we're starting today. Yeah, if you guys. Oh, okay, good. Yeah, if you guys like what we're doing, feel free to hit follow, like the video, subscribe to YouTube, or hey, Twitch Prime, you can subscribe to us for free. Hashtag Amazon's all right. And the main thing here is asking questions. What's up, Amber Muffin? Because it's usually written, otherwise it would say that quadratic formula. Yes, you are correct. It can be confusing. And they corrected saying it should have been equal C. So not a problem. But Amber, do you have any questions? Also, does anyone out there have any questions? We went over a lesson earlier in the stream, and the way we do this, the general schedule, if you will, is we like to go over whatever it is we have in our calendar for that day, which can also be found above or below. We go over specific... Trinity was a great refresh for me. I really enjoy it. Hey, thanks, Hex. Thanks for tuning in. The calendar. So we have what we're going to be covering for the next couple of weeks. You can tune in, ask questions. After the first 30 to 45 minutes, we're going to be done with the lesson, and then it's just open for any questions you guys have. So if there's anything you want to know about the SAT, ACT, applying to college essays, kind of. That's kind of more of a personal conversation that needs to be had, but we can give you generic and basic things for that. Any of that, let us know. The essays on the actual tests, even though they're really not that important compared to your composite score. Do colleges really care about APs? Do they really care about your GPA, your extracurriculars, your college application essay? How important are those? I don't know, guys. Maybe I do, but you'll never know if you don't ask, so figure it out. I thought you were coming to say something, and then you just didn't. I don't like when you wear shoes, especially that are padded like that. They're running shoes. They're not padded shoes, but they're running shoes, so he seems taller. I don't like that. Anyway, Amber, any other questions?
Brendan.
Yes.
My back hurts.
Okay. You want me to pop it? Is that what that was?
Well, no, I came up here, so Brady said that.
Okay.
That's why I came up.
Do we answer college-level math and physics questions? We can tutor for it, but we usually don't do that on stream. I heard all undergrad schools have the same general education. It doesn't matter what school you get into.
The curve is what's different.
No. Your back? The curve of your back? No, they're saying all undergraduate schools have the same general education.
No.
I would disagree with that.
The requirements or the actual classes
education
themselves?
There are the gen ed type of things, and yes, most colleges require you to take an English class and a math class and things like that. But no, totally different across schools. So no, that's to the extent to which that is true is very close. Like you have not extended very far from falsehood when you say that. Very close to being false.
Like they all have Bio 101, but one of the differences is that depending on the school you go to, the curves are different. So if you go to like an Ivy League, you're competing against other students that are going to be getting much higher grades. So it makes it harder to get high grades if you're at one of those schools, even though you're learning the same content.
Also, the material's not necessarily going to be the same either. You're going to have certain colleges that have more rigorous programs. So there's a reason they're the top 10 engineering schools in the U.S. It's not because they do it the same way as the schools that are not even on the list. There's a reason that they have those rankings. I would say an Ivy League and a community college, I would say my go-to for this is that you can learn the same amount at either one. However, at a community college, the onus is going to be on you. It's going to be your responsibility to learn a lot of these things on your own outside of the classroom. At a Ivy League level college, they're going to have very difficult homework assignments. So they're going to have lots of homework assignments. They're going to make sure you learn the topic. And if you don't, you won't pass the class. So the difference isn't what you can learn, it's what they force you to learn. You're going to have more things you have to be able to know at a college that is at a higher level. It's more structured.
That's how I've realized it is. They give you a nice structure.
Yep.
It is easier to learn. Yeah, you said that last night, right? It's easier to learn.
It's easier because it's not you having to go and force yourself to do it. It's them forcing you to do it, which is surprisingly easier if you have someone else telling you to do it rather than the self-motivation thing.
Yeah, just do it. Very good. Now you know everything there is to know about college.
That's every single thing.
Today,
That was literally nice. Good to see you. Finished my English region exam. Ooh.
Oh, I used 5
Okay. So English is your second language. You have a lot of time to take it, and so nice. Finishing in 5 hours when you have a 24-hour time limit.
Robot, you both took it today. It's okay if you both took
No,
it today.
I just did. Well, that also means you have a lot of extra time to go back over it. But there you go.
Only 3 hours. Well, there's a time zone thing. Makes sense.
I'm assuming English was your first language then, Robot Dancer.
Well, zeros and ones probably for Robot Dancer.
Because he's a robot. Nice. Binary jokes. All right.
That was
I'd
for
give it a
you.
1.
That was for you. But you like it.
Yeah. I studied it at the lower level more than you did, I think.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
1010. That's what I'd give him.
You give him a 5?
1010.
Oh, 1010.
Yeah.
So you give him a 10?
A 10.
Nice.
We're also in New York City.
We are.
Us three.
The Regents exam is, the New York thing. Yeah, we are.
Yay. The big
it's a weird
NY.
Please don't.
Right?
What is that?
There's a Y. There's a Y. See? Look at the Y.
We have markers and a board, for goodness sakes. You don't have to write
I should
it up
probably
there.
write it.
I'll go scroll that down.
Shoot.
It does.
Why does it do that?
half the time?
I just learned, and Bird too, that little emoticon or emoji that they use, what do they call them here? Emotes? Whatever. The dude doing this thing,
Emoticon.
I always thought it was him kind of stroking his chin like, that's
Thinking?
strange. It's not. He's just laughing and he has weird facial hair. So what happens when
we
you
finish
undergrad?
undergrad? And Watts, the difference.
No, Unvergrad.
Watts would be a double at T, and that's capitalized because of his name.
Yes.
What's the difference? What happens when we finish undergrad? You have a degree, and what's the difference? Difference between what, undergrad and grad school, or just having a degree from different institutions? There's a lot of things that differ there. I think English Regent is so hard. It is so hard to read, especially multiple choice article. Yeah, practice does make perfect.
Yes.
I would recommend reading
I think
a lot
2
in your
hours
free
of
time.
practice makes perfect. Roughly.
Not necessarily, Amber Muffin.
Yeah.
And the
so
opposite is not necessarily true.
after
either.
graduate, so having a degree opens a lot of doors for you.
Mhm.
But not going to college and then spending that time working also opens other doors for you. But the bigger the name of your college, the more doors it will open for you. But it doesn't mean that you can do anything that you couldn't before, aside from be part of that alumni network, which is
Can be
useless
useful, yeah.
thus far.
Can be useful, though.
Right.
Can be useful.
Right. Can be.
There's the potential. What degree do you get? Bachelor's in something, whether it's science or engineering or arts or fine arts or,
Yes.
it's a bachelor's degree. 4-year degree.
Yes. Very
There
good.
you
Okay, so we've answered Robot Answer's question.
There's multiple questions, or her.
Yes.
I thought at one point. Anyway, we've answered Robot Dancer's questions. Are there more questions? Unless you get ouch.
Woo!
Which is why you also majored in a couple other things, or minored.
Bachelor of Arts.
Yes. I like that there's conversation going on in the chat. I'd like it better if those were questions and answers.
Whoa.
Oh, thanks, Brady.
Don't listen to him. He's just afraid. It's very dark in here, and Brendan is terrified of the dark.
That's why I like that these lights are
Yeah,
on.
we always take him outside, near the bushes for a little while, until he comes back in so we can, keep the area around here dry.
Okay, it took me a minute to see where you were trying to go with that. Thanks.
My friend in SAT got an 1100 because he had SAT tutoring. Before he went to tutoring, he got an 800. Yes, that makes sense. Now, that doesn't mean that... Okay, yes, tutoring is very important, very good. What do you guys think I should do if I don't know what I want to major in right now? I'm just going with the flow, going to school, studying extracurriculars, but I don't know what to say when my relatives say, what do you want to be?
I got this one.
Tell them...
Same. You're same.
Yes, tell them I want to be a blueberry.
You don't have to know. I went into college having no clue, and what I would recommend is take a lot of courses in a lot of different things and use that opportunity that you don't really get later in life to try tons of different things all at once. say, maybe I want to take a pottery class because that seems like it'd be cool. Or
And then major in it like he did.
I didn't. Or maybe take a hard physics class and say, I wonder if this will be any fun. It's not, but challenging sometimes can be fun. So challenging classes can sometimes be fun.
I was just picturing somebody. This is like a SpongeBob thing. No, like you know how people
not
get.
gonna know.
So you,
Okay,
like,
go ahead.
Some people get cremated, right?
Sure.
And you put them in an urn.
Yeah.
I was thinking of you in pottery class making an urn for yourself and just climbing in preemptively. Be like, I'm here. I'll be here afterwards.
There'll have to be such a big urn.
Yeah, it's a big
I'm
urn.
a large person. Okay.
You're a big earner. You're not a big earner.
Okay. No, you do not have to know what you want to be. I was always surprised and a little bit shocked that kids, I guess I was at that age at the time, but kids who are 17 and 18 know what they want to do till they're done at 65. I think that's great for them, and I think it is unusual. Not in a bad way, but I don't think that is the norm for everybody to know what they want to do till they retire.
Also, you might find something that you
Thanks.
like that isn't necessarily a good idea to pursue with your life, and you need to push those emotions down.
So, Brady, what do? We always say you
Repress and dissociate. And then you're going to be fine.
Yeah.
That's it.
No, it's if you find a passion, pursue it. And if you don't, keep looking.
Yeah. They also have some stats about how like people in our generation are probably going to have 5 different careers. I don't know what the number is right now, but thinking that you're going to get like one job that you'll have for the rest of your life is most likely not going to happen.
It's also boring.
And
I think.
preposterous. And shallow and dense.
Mayonnaise a career.
No,
trying to
Patrick,
play
mayonnaise is not a career.
No horse race.
Sometimes I want to be a political leader. Sometimes I want to be a computer engineer.
Or
You
could
can't do both.
You could be a computer engineer, build an android that then goes and becomes a political leader.
That's
Yeah.
actually how Robot Dancer was born.
Boom, let's
Yes.
go. You want to be a grapefruit.
That
Yeah,
conflicts
you do.
with being a
But
blueberry, though.
Yes.
those are bitter. You don't want to be bitter.
That's
Trust
not true.
me. It's not
This
fun.
soda squirt is grapefruit soda, and it's delicious.
Yeah, because
Soda
they put in
squirt.
so much sugar.
Yeah, so
To
a
counteract
grapefruit
the
with some
bitterness.
sugar is okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Well, you got to be a sweet grapefruit then.
Yeah, Robot Dancer, everyone for the most part feels very similar to you. Even people that are established in their careers are like, I don't know if I want to keep doing this.
You know, I don't
I
want to tear
imagine-
down that dream, Robot Dancer, but you
got
are a
something.
robot probably made predominantly out of copper wire and aluminum tubing.
Yes.
If you
And
were,
you can't be a grapefruit. So save yourself a lot of heartache and be a political leader.
if you're watching us on YouTube or Facebook Live right now, you're probably very confused because it says tutors and free and SAT and ACT and prep and
Yes.
what
Very
is this? Well, Twitch is going. They're being very active in their chat, and Facebook and YouTube. I'll be honest, you guys aren't.
Great,
Math,
Levi.
We've got it.
That's good.
So we're just answering their questions, and some of them tend to be a little bit trolly and very funny. Oh yeah,
Yes.
yeah. There you go. I
Is
mean,
that like zucchini? Zellini?
Zelinli,
Lindley.
Zelinli.
Yeah.
Got it.
I think.
Zelinli. Got it. Okay.
Yes, so Zelinli, tutoring can be important. Also, the most important thing about tutoring is doing the work you're assigned outside of it. So I think that's why we do this. A lot of the improvement can be made by just going and practicing on your own.
A little unit circle.
There you go. It is not difficult to be a mediocre tutor. It happens everywhere.
Or a mediocre political
Hey,
leader.
hey. What's up? It's Robot Dancer, your #1 fan, watching us on YouTube. Thank you. We appreciate that.
So,
Ah.
interesting.
Ah.
Interesting.
More of a YouTube guy. I get it.
What do you guys want to be? You're looking at it.
I want to be an adult who has their stuff together.
I want to be Brendan.
No, you don't.
Oh, no, I don't.
I would,
No, you don't.
I would like to be
Um,
Levi being Brendan.
I think that I'm alright with that.
And I would like you to watch that.
I want
How would you? Could you impersonate me?
I'd have to put on at least 50 pounds
I
of
hate
just
you.
bulk.
Predominantly in the trapsies.
Yes,
Or
in the
fall.
traps.
It's a trickle down theory from the traps.
Yes,
Fill
it
the
is.
traps.
Top
I'm here
down.
for tutoring, just
Top
here to
down,
say
Brendan.
hi, Brady.
Hey!
Jordan Nicole Flora.
Jordan Nicole Flora, I still have your lemur on my shelf, and she makes me happy every day. Every day.
Zaboomafoo?
No,
Oh.
Jill. She's like a little beanie baby. Jordan, thank you for watching.
Is Jordan your ex?
Jordward?
You're wonderful. What?
What?
What'd you say?
Who?
Is Jordan my ex? Is that what
Yeah.
you said? No. No. You're thinking of someone else who is my ex.
Also, I think it might
Yes.
be a decent idea for us to repeat some of the questions, so that the other people who are watching
Yes.
and different
Okay.
things can
So
get that.
for
But
Twitch people who we like more, Jordan has just said hi to Bird, and Bird has this friend named Jordan who's not Bird's romantic ex, and has given Bird a lemur
that he has kept with
Bird
him.
to
keeps on
commemorate
his
the
shelf.
sweet summer that we spent together.
69.
Yeah.
Which sounds like
weren't
we
born
dated, but no,
Yeah.
it was a summer theater.
Not exes,
Um,
because you never dated, right? It was it was just a fling.
Right, sure. Thank you.
Did he just poke you in the face?
I licked
Yes,
his finger. I regret it.
Jordan, our times with Jill at the Frankfurt Public Petting Zoo were still the highlight of my summer, and possibly a period of time that extends several months in both directions from that summer. I'll never forget that.
Oh, boy.
She had a friend who worked at the petting zoo, and she let us into the lemur cages, which you're not supposed to let people into.
No.
So the lemurs just kind of jump on you and like lick your neck.
So it's better than the monkeys in Asia.
Yes.
the
Oh,
The
yes.
ones the
because-
ones I saw too, because I was there.
Right. I had a.
Right.
We forgot to invite Brendan to Southeast Asia.
Yeah, I was
Oh.
at home.
This is a disaster.
They have so many photos that they want to show me, they haven't been able to show me. Do you understand what that means? They're like, well, first of all, we want to cut it down from like 5,000 photos to 3.
Yeah.
The amount of hate radiating off me right now, I'm surprised our apartment hasn't burned down.
Radiation. Oh, that's a good
How have you
question.
not heard of us? Probably because we don't have enough viewers to get past the larger people who've been doing this for a long time.
That's kind of the problem. Hexadecimal, how did you hear of us?
That's a great question.
Do we know
How did you
that?
stumble upon us?
Yeah.
I know how the Facebook people got here. We're just sharing it.
Oh my goodness, we have a question. Everybody stop
Oh my gosh.
saying worthless things.
But still answer that.
Bird, hold your breath. Oh, that's unhelpful.
Was it not a question?
That
No,
should have
it
gone
was-
in memes.
It
Let's be
was.
honest.
I just spritzed this thing.
Oh no, where's my?
My
This is
great
my dry
little
towel.
unit circle.
It was a preemptive spritz,
No,
man.
it's bleeding.
It's not bleeding.
But
It's
now
not
it's
the same
gone.
thing. It's not.
I mean, hey, Hex, here's the deal. If you really feel that way, one, thank you. I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
that's great.
You should tell people about us.
Yeah. We'll tell people about you.
Yeah.
So just return the favor.
Yeah, this person, Hex, has a really cool spelling of their name. We get it.
Yeah. People will be enthralled to hear more about you.
Also, why hexadecimal? You going into like computer science or something?
My desk mate says she got a 99 in English Regents exam.
Congrats.
I wouldn't trust a desk
Well,
mate.
we're on every night from Sunday to Thursday, 8 to 9:30 p.m. Eastern.
EST. Sorry. I should let you finish.
You
that.
found us on Reddit? Yeah, we also need to be commenting more there. The ACT subreddit likes us. The SAT subreddit doesn't seem to, and I'm not sure why.
I think it's your personality.
I think
That
it's
could
it's
very
a
well be
temperament-
it.
temperament thing.
This isn't math, Levi. I don't know why you put that up there.
I just
Unless
put
you
it
think
up there.
about it as adding two independent clauses together, and how you're adding them together is a semicolon
That's
or a period.
not at all what I was saying.
Yeah,
That's how I think about it.
Two independent clauses together. Don't worry. Just put a semicolon in there. It's gonna be fine.
Do we know Brooklyn College? I know a Brooklyn in college.
I know a Brooklyn Jones took her on a date one time.
Really?
No.
I don't know.
Well, Walken did. I didn't.
You know way too much about this man.
Yeah.
No, maybe. I mean, I'm assuming it's a college. Stony Brook? Or that's Long Island, isn't it?
I don't know.
You can tell us about it.
Brooklyn
You can-
College.
Yeah,
Yes.
well, you like Brooklyn College?
I mean, you're from the area,
Their
so I would
mascot?
expect you to know, but I
Yeah, no, it's very close to us. It's on it's in the Bronx.
I hate you
Yeah.
so much.
I actually almost said what street we live on.
That's not
weird.
good. If someone goes to a city college, can they go to an Ivy League for grad school?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
No.
Yes. No.
Oh.
Absolutely.
You apply, you have to get in, so you have
Yeah.
to have good grades and all that sort of stuff.
Mhm.
No, yeah,
Absolutely,
for
you
sure.
can.
For sure.
After every step, you can choose where to go from those steps.
Thanks for that. Each one is like a path that forks off, and it
And your
continually
degree
does
is a
that.
landing.
And if any of you are
steps,
comfortable with computer science, it's almost like a binary tree where it continues to fork and branch off.
It's like that, but it's not.
There you go.
You have more choices than that.
Yeah. What is after grad school?
Yeah. Texas? Both? in that order.
Well, those will happen to anyone.
I think you should get yourself.
I mean, you can get a
urn,
PhD,
climb
which
in
is
it.
technically technically.
There's different
There's
degrees
different
you get
kinds,
in
yeah.
grad school.
Postdoc,
But then you either stay in academia, become a professor, and that's after you get a PhD, or you
can
decide to join
the workforce, or you can go and do research, or you can just do what I did, be enrolled in the master's program, take a couple of courses, and realize this sucks, and not do it.
Yeah,
But
and then
that's
you run
only
away.
because I realized I didn't want to go into that major.
Yeah.
Go
And then
ahead.
Brendan ran away to Never Neverland. Can you see him
Thanks.
in a Peter Pan outfit? Because I see him in a Peter Pan
There
outfit.
might
time.
hold on. There has to be photos because I was in a Peter Pan outfit once, maybe in college and definitely in high school.
Were you as trappy and
I was way
bulky?
bigger in high school and college.
Very trappy.
Yeah.
If I want to go to medical or law school, do I need a bachelor's
You need
or
a
master's?
bachelor's.
You need a
Yeah.
bachelor's.
You gotta have a bachelor's.
Yes, you have to go to undergrad first.
Yes.
But we appreciate that.
And
Max.
if you want to definitely go to med school, please stay away from my fingers or they will come off.
It was Brendan.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to pay money. It is free. Oh, cool.
Hexadecimal. We would love to have more viewers.
That's we
We're
wouldn't be
totally
upset.
with you.
guys,
Also,
are we
Hex,
sure we want more viewers?
If you're this
Have we
big of a
thought that
fan,
through?
we're thinking of starting to do some comedy stuff on our Twitter. We might keep it very professional, or we might not. So you can follow our Twitter down below. Our Instagram account we're starting today or tomorrow, so we'll post that stuff all down. We'll have that all down below. Follow us on social medias because there's multiple ones.
Media.
Media,
Yeah. Media.
mediate
It's definitely media.
Yeah.
on the social medias.
Medium is singular.
Yeah.
A social medium. What time is it? Did we blow it?
No, my friend who I usually go salsa dancing with on Tuesdays, is just messaging me about how fun it was.
Oh,
But I'm here
no.
teaching you instead of doing what I love, which is dancing salsa.
You
Not
should
thinking.
text your friend about how much fun he's missing.
We could send him a video right now and he'd just laugh.
Medium.
Medium?
Yes, media is the plural of medium.
Yeah. So like media rare is like multiple steaks that are not cooked.
Don't
that
listen to
well.
Levi. That doesn't make
Media?
any sense.
Oh, okay.
We were at a
media.
restaurant
Media
once,
is
and I
not
won't name which cousin, but you guys don't watch this anyway, so you deserve this. We were at a restaurant, and it was like, what do you call that when you get steak and lobster on the side? It's a surf and
Surf and
turf.
turf.
Yeah, it was a surf and
Ugh.
turf kind of place in Florida, and we were eating, and we all got steaks, except one of my cousins got fish, right? And they're asking us, how do you want that done? And we're like, medium rare. We're going through, and they go to him, how would you like that done? And he goes, and he ordered like a fish. He's like, rare? And they just go, never mind, and just keep going. Funniest thing ever. Does it matter what grad school I go to get accepted to medical school, or is it just the MCAT, or is it like college apps again? So you do have to take the MCAT, and that is effectively like your SAT, ACT. It kind of gives them a general idea of where you're at, and then you get interviews with colleges in their medical programs.
Do you mean what undergrad school you went to get accepted to medical school? Because generally, you can go to medical school right after undergrad.
Medical, law.
Yeah, business, all that stuff. In which case, I will say, just like college applications, it's a holistic application process. So,
Ooh, I don't know if the MCAT likes holistic medicine. That's not good.
so like if you're gonna apply to Harvard Med School, it would probably be a little easier if you were coming out of another Ivy League school, or a high tier school rather than like a community college. But they look at all sorts of things.
They might have a program that is pre-med, and that might prepare you for it, but I don't know if there's any
They
what's the
they
word I'm
don't
looking for?
necessarily prioritize the undergrad program from the perspective of grad schools. Actually, some graduate programs don't like accepting students from their undergrad. I doubt that NYU Med is one of those schools. Any school with a positive reputation is going to be fine. If you want to make yourself the best candidate possible, you want to get into college, you want to do these things to get yourself into med school, you want to start, prepping for them early, and you want to start doing research and hopefully writing papers, that makes you one of the better candidates for med school.
We're better than your... Well, you can tell them about us, and we won't tell them you said that.
Yeah.
That way, the rest of your school can also watch and get free, apparently good, thank you, tutoring. Zelinli, Asian education is so tired or tiring. When I go to New York, you feel relaxed. Where do you study? Are you in, like, Japan, South Korea, China? Mainland
China.
Also, just to
you
clarify,
can say some things.
if
I
you
can't.
if you say tired, Lindley, versus tiring, there is a slight difference. We're going to do a little bit of English right now.
I have a child. I must leave.
Okay.
Not like my own offspring. I
He's
have someone to tutor.
tutoring.
Yeah.
Too much tutor.
Okay. So this tired means sleepy. So that means, if Brendan is tired, that means he's sleepy, he wants to take a nap.
Most likely.
Tiring is something that makes you sleepy. So tiring is difficult.
Or draining.
Or draining is another way of saying it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're saying that, what are we saying?
You're
Asian
saying-
education is so tiring. If
It
that's
makes
what
you
you're going
tired.
for.
Yeah.
Yes, it makes you tired. Just so you know. Adjectives.
But feel free to spread the word, guys. This is free, and it's really always going to be. Ooh, something. This is, hey, for any of you watching right now, we have a website that we're developing that should be ready to be tested for free by you guys in the next couple of days. I want to double check some things before I throw the URL out. Are you guys still studying? No, we graduated a number of years ago, depending on which one. I was 2017, 2016, and Brady was 2015. But yeah, there is a website we are about to put out that will have an SAT or ACT practice test, one of the ones that's online and freely available, and you take it, fill in your answers, you create an account, all that, so all your information's stored. When you take it, it will take probably about 20 seconds or so to run, and it spits out a score report telling you, here's your score, here's what you got in each of the breakdowns of the section, here are the questions you missed, here are the right answers, here are the topics that you missed, because here are the topics related to those questions, and your top 3 topics that you missed per section.
So you're telling them we're giving them a service that won't help them at all.
Sure, if that's how they want
Yeah.
to interpret that.
Right.
That's not how I would say it. That's a cool website. Yeah, wait till you see what it looks like. It's actually, it looks kind of, I like the look of
I need
it.
to find a background photo for the video.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Thank you, though. I will appreciate it when you say that after you've seen it, but I still think I like that you like the idea. It works. I just want to make sure it'll work at large scale. So it's a cloud, like where all the information will be. Oh, because it's like moving. So never
Nope.
mind.
That's just. Yeah, I realized that.
If you erase
was
that one,
happening.
it looks way cooler from my perspective. But it's also just my opinion, man. Oh, never mind. It sucks.
Killing me, Smalls.
But yeah, that is something we will be needing students, you guys, to test for us. And if something seems wrong, let us know. You know I think you guys have our email. If not, it's on our website, which is down below because we do private one-on-one tutoring, which is not for free.
For now, it's only available for another couple months. So you gotta get tutored right away.
Yeah, before it becomes free or something like that. Yeah, if there are any other questions, guys, let us know. Questions about college are always welcome. Questions about the SAT, ACT. Questions about life in general. Levi's personal life.
Yeah, you could ask about my personal life, but I'll know more next week.
That's never going to be false.
True.
Except you do forget a lot of
yeah, I was
things, so
just
you
gonna
might
say
not remember
maybe not.
anything from this week. starting
Maybe
next week.
not. Do
What
we
else?
have any questions? Do you have a GF? No idea what that is, but I'm going to say no.
A good fruit. He
A
has a
good
box of
fruit.
oranges.
I do have a box of oranges.
You do, although the box is dwindling.
We're
or your
doing
supply is.
some real verbal gymnastics to get away from answering that question, and we have done it successfully.
Success.
Students diverted. Okay.
Also,
Any other questions?
we have our
Brandon's personal
Facebook
life?
down below. Our Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. All of that, depending on what platform you're on. Feel free to share that with your friends who need this. Feel free to share it with your school and be like, hey, guys, here you're worried about that test coming up in April.
Yeah. If you have kids.
If you have kids that are the age of high school that would take this test, go ahead and say, send it to them. If you are taking Regents or anything like that, you can ask us questions that are on that because they're most likely going to be related to the SAT and ACT. Send it. You can also, yeah, you like that? Send it. Okay, how about a best friend? Yeah,
Very
I
similar
have a few
situation.
best friends. but don't tell them that I have more than one. It's like an old-timey like drama where like the kids are mad. Like, I thought I was your best friend. I can have more than one best friend. What else would that mean? Best friends forever. So it's not forever. They're just my best friend. That's what else? These kids. I just don't. I'm not hip anymore.
Youths.
Like when your hips pop.
Youths.
What was that off of we just watched recently?
New Girl.
New Girl.
Schmidt, when he says it. Yeah.
Youths took my tires. It's the young people.
The
It's always
blasted
them.
youths.
Oh, he did mean that. Brent has a very wide foot.
That's actually accurate. I
yeah.
also have wide hands. Like my
Size
hands
10
are not
feet.
small.
Are we allowed to share like foot size and things? We're both size. No, you're size 11. 10
The
and a half.
problem is just that like any shoe I get is never wide enough. So it's like with pants that are too tight, you have to go up in size just to make it fit that size of the foot. Like it's, I don't know. What are your heights? Please ask. You guys look tall. That's just perspective. If we shifted this down, we'd look even taller. Also, if I step back, maybe I don't look as tall, and then I just kind of fade into darkness.
Yeah, if you back away slowly
Darkness,
from your
my
computer,
friend.
we will look much smaller.
And then when I get closer, like, look at how big my hand looks when I just put it a little bit closer. Bigger than his face. But, no. I don't know. I'm 6 foot. I don't know why that matters. I think all this is available online in a creepy way. Big shoes. You're right. Good call. Que más. What else? So I heard it is harder, easier.
No,
I think that's a loaded question.
very loaded.
Yeah. I would say if you're really interested, you can follow the case that's going on with Harvard right now and follow all the stuff around that. There's lots of information coming out about that. I don't know. I don't feel
It's
comfortable.
not our problem.
Because we're done with college.
That's productive.
Like, does being a minority matter or help? Hard to say. You can look into that. I think that case would be a good one to look into. Harvard is getting sued, I think, by some students because of that. How does superscoring work? Does every college do this? Hey, Hendrik, I don't know if we've seen you before, so thanks for tuning in. Superscoring is where you, let's say you take the test 3 times, ACT, for example, and you just take the best scores for each section. So maybe on one test you got 35 on the English, and then on the other 2 you got a 31, 33. For your super score, you get to say, well, I got a 35 because that's my best score. So you take the best scores from each of those 3 tests and then say, here are my super scores and what that composite would have been. And not every college does that. There's a good number of them, and you can find that online.
You can always find it online. They will tell you.
The schools themselves will tell you if they take super scores. Thanks for the question.
Yeah, if you just Google school name super score with
SAT or ACT super score, yeah.
It will be one of the first links. You can find it that easily. There's not hidden information.
Yeah.
In your guys' opinion, is ACT math easier than SAT, or is SAT harder?
I think I like them both. I think that the ACT covers, the ACT does cover different topics, but I like them both.
Yeah, okay, so I would say
More breadth.
more breadth. What is the other one? SAT?
Yep.
Sometimes I forget.
Yeah.
More depth. So the ACT does more stuff. It does more
topics?
stuff with trig graphing. It does more stuff with what are they? Matrices. It does more stuff with. It does ellipses sometimes.
Yep. Breadth. No. Breadth is the breadth of something. So it is the entirety.
Yeah. So it covers more stuff, but the SAT, the things that it covers, it sometimes covers in more depth than the SAT. So you have to have I think that the SAT generally asks questions that require a more in-depth understanding of any given topic. They also like to bundle their things, so one question might, push you or challenge you in multiple different skill areas of math, whereas the ACT is a little bit more straightforward of this topic, this topic, this topic.
Yeah. Think of it as you're going diving and you are walking in a kiddie pool.
Yeah. Or
Very
you can
same amount of water.
Yeah, you can compare it to 2 tests that you're taking, where one it has
so
more
much.
breadth and one has
Don't do it.
more depth.
Thanks for the help. Good night. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for tuning in, Robot Dancer.
You took a big Regents exam today.
Hendrik,
Go to sleep.
do you like that answer? Do you have any other questions? I think we're about out of time, but we do this every night from Sunday to Thursday. More breadth, more depth.
Very good.
Mhm.
You got it. You got it. I'm going to erase it now. It's written there in the chat.
Yeah, but we do this 5 nights a week. Feel free to share with other students or friends who also could use this. Let me scroll down to get that.
Darkness, my old friend.
When is the next cram session? The next cram session will be before the
week-
next test.
Yeah.
So the ACT is on, I want to say,
All right.
February 9th,
I think so.
which is 2.5 weeks away.
So it'll probably not be the whole week leading up. It'll probably just
Thursday,
be
Friday.
the Thursday, Friday before the Saturday test. We will still have streams that week to answer and ask your questions, for you to ask questions and for us to answer them. And then the last 2 nights will be kind of more of a cram session.
Very good.
Yep. And yeah, the 9th. Thanks, Hendrik. All right, we are out of time. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Follow, like, subscribe, all the different things. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, like us, follow our pages, whatever. If you liked us, great. If you didn't, well, thanks for watching, I guess. But share with your friends. That's the most important thing. Let it more guys. Are you guys more about... I like to cover topics in depth. I think that certain topics we talk about, like matrices, can be pretty... You don't have to go over those too much. Like, there's only so many things they really ask you to do with matrices, and that's only ACT.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it depends on the topic. Good question. Yeah, so feel free to share this with everybody you know. Spread us like the plague. I think that's the phrase you use, and I really like that.
Cough on people. So say nerdish and then cough on them.
Yeah. Make sure there's some stuff there. All right, we will see you guys tomorrow. And yeah, that's about it.
Have a lovely night. A very lovely night.